Pleased to announce that our quarterback battle is over, and Rob Henry will be our quarterback for the 2013 season. And we are happy that he is, and he's done an unbelievable job doing all the things that we've asked him to do. He's done a marvelous job of taking care of the football. He's gotten us into mostly all the right plays, and he's really been a tough guy, and he's going to be a great ambassador for this football team this year. He's a great leader, on and off the field. He's what Purdue stands for, what he represents, all the things that he represents in the community, on the field, the kind of person he is. We're happy to have Rob as our leader for our offense this year, and he will be the guy getting 1 reps from now until the end of the season. So we're excited about him. I'm really proud of those other 2 guys that battled for the position. Really coming into the fall, it was a 2-man race with a guy trying to get back into the race. 2-man race with Danny Etling, and I thought Austin Appleby did a phenomenal job getting himself back into the race. He really did a nice job, and I was proud of him. I was proud of Danny because he had struggled a day or so and really got it fixed. He fixed the problems, most of the problems he was having, and so those are 2 really good young prospects. And I told those guys that Rob's going to need their support. Make sure you help him get better as the year goes on, and Rob can improve on a lot of things. But I really feel good about where we are in our quarterback situation. I think we have 3 very competent guys. We're going to play one of them, and that one being Rob Henry, and I'm happy for him.
What eventually separates a guy like Rob from in this field?
Well, I think his poise was evident from day one. He's had a phenomenal camp. He's been very accurate. I think where he developed quite a bit this fall camp is he would step up in the pocket. Instead of being impatient and taking off with the ball, he kept his eyes downfield and found open guys. And that's big. That's big. And he obviously has the ability to take off and crush defenses' morale by getting 8 yards or 9 yards on those 3rd down situations. But when you have a quarterback who can step through the pocket, find that comfort zone in the pocket and find open guys, you got something special.
I know you and Coach Shoup want to keep him in the pocket as much as you can, but do you like the idea of his legs being a threat too?
I love his legs being a threat. And he's fast, he's elusive, and there's nothing worse than being in a situation as a defense, being at 3rd and 11, 3rd and 12, and they're playing man coverage, and the quarterback pulls it down and runs for 13 or 14 yards. That crushes your morale defensively.
You mentioned kind of his character and kind of those intangibles. You really couldn't go around with any of those guys in that kind of way, but he really is mature and is that kind of leader that you would want at quarterback, right?
He really is. I mean, I think everybody in the room looks up to the guy. It's because he does what he says he's going to do, and he does it with such charisma, so well-spoken, and he's a great leader.
So who's number 2?
We're going to slash the number 2. We really are. We're going to work them both out at that number 2 position, see who emerges. But I like them both. It's going to be hard to get them both equal reps, but they're both going to be slashed as number 2.
Was Rob the most accurate quarterback of this camp?
I'd say so. Yeah, and the numbers will say the same thing.
Because you chart that every day.
We do.
Was it close?
Yeah, it was close.
Thanks for being specific.
It was very close.
What were your impressions of Rob when you first came here? You probably heard maybe Wildcat quarterback, things like that. Did you hear that, and how did he change maybe those impressions over the time?
Well, you do. You hear all those things where is he a pocket passer? Is he not a pocket passer? But he proved to me, to Coach Shoup, myself, and the rest of the offensive staff, that he's a guy that can stand back in the pocket. But to have that other dimension, it really gives some fits to defenses. So he's going to be pretty special this year, just because he's hungry, and there's something to be said about that.
You feel pretty good with him throwing the deep ball. I mean, we've seen quite a bit of camp. He's able to he has some pretty good zip on those kind of underneath throws and stuff, but he has to do everything in this offense.
Yeah, we got to be able to create those big plays. Some plus 20-yard throws down the field, plus 30-yard throws, and he can make those throws. I have there's no reason to think that Rob can't make all those deep throws that we need him to make.
At what point was your mind completely made up with Rob as your number one?
You got a sense probably within the last week or so that he was clearly, in our minds, the guy that was doing the things that we needed to do to move the offense consistently. He was clearly the guy. But you wanted to let it all play out and see exactly where it went, and it did. It played out. I thought that he was consistent every single practice. Period. He was very consistent with how he approached it, how he executed the offense, and I think that's what probably makes the biggest difference.